What's up, witches? It's me, Luna, and I'm having a very exciting week. Yesterday, I got this many new decks on my porch, and only one of which I purchased. So I got two gift decks. One is a second gift from Allie from Culloden, Scotland, and I'm so grateful to you. The first one she sent me was the Wise Dog Tarot. And this one I'm particularly excited about. I'm not going to do bad Scottish accents. Please give me self-control. Anyway, the note that came with it says, "Enjoy your gift. I hope this time you'll get my message." When she ordered the first deck, she didn't see that you could put a note in until it was at the point of no return. Findhorn is a few miles away from where I live. It is a special place. Question, is there hope in my dire situation? Will I get a job? From Allie Wallace Stewart. So this is where you get to find out that there's a wish list down below. And if you would like a personal reading from me, which is this, unless you marry into my family, which there are no gates open for that right now, but this is about the only way to get a personal reading. So if you purchase me a deck off that wish list, there is a place where you can put a little whatever, and if you have a specific question, you can ask it, and I will read for you on the unboxing. Okay, now to business. I have two other Findhorn decks published by Findhorn Press, and there's an Archangel fire deck, and then there's a water deck, and they are very special. I know Findhorn is a special place. So thanks and blessings to Allie. Let's look at the deck. Findhorn Spirit Oracle cards, written and illustrated by Swan Treasure. Interesting name. This is published by Findhorn Press. We've got symbols up here. Findhorn Spirit Oracle cards, offering support and practical guidance for daily life. These 44 oracle cards emerged in close partnership with the subtle realms at Findhorn. Each card depicts a spirit being as they chose to reveal themselves through touch drawing, so as to pass on wisdom to help us navigate these times of transition. What's touch drawing? I'm so curious. A longer message connected to the essence of the elemental can be found in the accompanying booklet, which also offers suggestions for spiritual practice to open communication and engage more deeply with the nature spirits. Following the directions of the medicine wheel, the cards function as energy activators and assist us in deepening our connection with the divine. A potent tool for self-discovery and healing, this deck brings joy and light to your path. Swan Treasure is an artist, mentor, systemic constellator, and a transformation game guide. Oh, she lives in the Findhorn community, Scotland. Okay, let's go in. So this box doesn't have little thumb holds, and it's glossy, so it's a little bit of a shake to get it to open, as you see. Nice color inside. All right, here's the little book. And let's see, the copyright on this is 2022, so a fairly recent deck. Forward by Thomas Miller, Co-Creative Spirituality, The Medicine Wheel, The Practice of Tuning into Frequencies, How to Use These Cards, The Meaning of Special Cards, Card Layouts, and Types of Readings, and then Examples of Readings. Then we have 44 message cards, which are broken down. We have Conception, the Landscape Angel, then we have the Portal of the East, and we've got all these keywords that are not in alphabetical order. Then we have the South, the West, the North, the realms above, the realms below, and the last one is Blessings. Then we've got an epilogue about touch drawing, yes, 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 by Deborah Koff-Chapin. Koff-Chapin, is she the one that did soul cards? Then we have a card index. Oh, thank you. And about the artist and author. So we're going to go there first, and I'm going to set my grumpiness aside because they've provided an index. But you know what? The contents page is like your first index, and how great is it if there's just numbers on the cards? We have an order. Since they're not going to be in alphabetical order, a simple number would be great. Anyhow, let's go to the back here. Okay, Swan is a catalyst for transformation, an artist, a writer, and a mentor. She is also a systemic constellator, NLP master practitioner. All right, I'm sold. And a medicine woman. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, if you didn't know, and it is the most efficient way of reprogramming this computer. She walks between the worlds and teaches internationally, accompanying people on their evolutionary journeys. Her life is dedicated to raising human consciousness through co-creative spirituality so that we can remember, experience, and awaken the beauty of being fully alive on this planet. Swan was born in Italy, has traveled worldwide to live and learn in many spiritual communities, and since 2012, she's been part of the Findhorn community. She enjoys making art and sharing creatively, being in nature and meditation, playing, dancing, and writing. To read her story, visit swantreasure.com. Okay, to be inspired and share inspiration with other people engaging with this deck, visit the Facebook page Findhorn Spirit Oracle. Cool. And then just we go back to her website. There's the card index where they are in alphabetical order. Thank you so much for that. That all is forgiven. All right. Upon learning that Swan created the images of the Findhorn Spherical Oracle cards during a 5-day touch drawing workshop, my sense that this creative process could serve the vision of the Findhorn community was confirmed. And this is by Deborah Koff Chapin. What a blessing to know that the nature spirits at Findhorn use touch drawing as a vehicle for creative collaboration. All right. Touch drawing came to me on the last day of my last year in art school in 1974. I'd been immersed in contemporary art world practices of abstraction and conceptualism. In my final months began to search for a way of creating that felt more integral with nature and through which I could express deeper levels of the human soul. So she was helping a friend clean up the printmaking shop, about to wipe an inked printing plate with a paper towel. I had an impulse to play. Instead of wiping, I placed the paper towel on the inked surface and moved my fingertips upon it. Lifting the paper, I saw imprints of my touch on the underside. The marks were pure, direct, and natural. I began to laugh ecstatically. Image after image poured through my fingertips and onto successive paper towels. The organic forms evoked plant life and the forces of nature. After a while, human faces emerged. All right, in opening the flow of energy, I felt unplugged, blah, blah. More fluid edited touch drawing came to me. All right, so indulge me. Okay, I was right. I just checked my catalog, and Deborah Koff Chapin is the author and the artist of the Soul Cards decks, which I have to admit I don't use like ever, but it is a strictly intuitive deck. There's no meanings applied by the author to the cards. So it's really interesting to hear what this process is of drawing, putting something down, and then, touching the back of the, so anyway, cool. Let's now go back to the front of the book again. Okay, so the foreword talks about when this deck was born in 2018 at Findhorn, about the conference that they were having, about our living world. So there's a lot about Findhorn here. And then there's a section on co-creative spirituality. The spirit of Findhorn is alive in its community. It permeates the land and sky and each person who stays here. Each one that comes to visit for a while is touched by it. In fact, we could say that the Findhorn community is the living embodiment of its spirit, which transcends time and boundaries and has expanded into a planetary village. Okay, Findhorn community has been defined in many ways: eco-village, spiritual center, mystery school, demonstration center, portal, and more recently by some, practice center. Okay, so talking about the land surrounding and what the community aspires to, living in direct communication with nature, going to ancient cultures, kind of how the spread of Christianity squashed a lot of spiritual practices. All right, the purpose of the cards. No pencils or brushes were used while drawing, only the touch of hands and fingernails on tissue paper placed on a board on top of colors. So there's the method. Many of the spirit beings who were invited during that time to actively participate in co-creation with humans made themselves available and accessible. The messages that have been received in connection with each of the spirit beings depicted in these cards encourage us to reconnect with our essential nature, to expand our awareness to new realities, to activate our full vital energy, and to engage our power of co-creation with the divine, opening to the joy of partnership with the subtle realms. The cards can also serve as a way to establish a deeper relationship with part of our consciousness that tends to be excluded or forgotten. If you've been drawn to this deck, trust that it isn't by chance. The subtle realms are enticing you. Okay, each image represents a spirit that has made itself visible in a specific shape suitable to be understood by human consciousness and is ready to connect with you. Having a spiritual practice supports this process. Many practices suggested in this deck prompt us to demonstrate sensitivity and tenderness for all creation, to slow down and fine-tune our perceptions, to recognize and embrace ourselves in many forms, to express ourselves with authenticity, and fully be the blessing that we are when we live lightly upon this planet. Then we talk about the medicine wheel, and you can see how, the indigenous American populations have, their practices have spread elsewhere. Let's brighten up a little bit here. So it talks about the basic structure of the medicine wheel and the 4 directions. Each quadrant has an assigned color. Okay, so there's information on that. The practice of tuning into frequencies. All right, talking about communicating with the subtle realms. At the beginning, you'll have to pay attention, but with time, you will become fluent in understanding signs and sounds, finding yourself in an easy and uninterrupted dialogue with the unseen, if that is your wish. And we have how to use the cards facilitating a dialogue with the spirit realms. Be clear that your intentions are for the highest and best of all concerned. Yes, I always add the disclaimer if I'm doing any magical work, that this be in keeping with each one's will and karma and for the highest good of all concerned. Create safety, ask for permission before entering their space, be willing to release the rational mind, purify your mind and environment from heavy stuff. Emotional cleansing will facilitate a state of relaxation and openness, care for your body and personal space. Keep letting your self-doubts go. Oh my God, that's a huge one. Or just do it anyway. Sure, doubt and do it anyway, because it's in that state of mind that you will get the biggest surprises, and then you'll really learn to trust. Commit to refining your listening and receiving skills. Pay attention to many different kinds of signals. Be patient. Enjoy art or music making. Spirit beings are attracted by lightheartedness and joyful vibrations. Yes. And that sense of trust, that sense of, it's like the perfect parking space, not really a spell, it's just a thing, where I'm going someplace and I'm like, where's my perfect parking space? And if I'm kind of like, oh, where's my perfect, it won't be there. But if I put myself in that place of the moment when I go, oh, look, there it is right up front. I put myself in that headspace, it will be there. Okay. Easier to establish a connection with the spirit world when in nature, but it can happen anywhere. All right. We're not meant to live like spirits. We are human beings in bodies. Be discerning about sharing the information. Not everyone is ready to hear about it. That's good advice. Finally, stay humble. We really know very little. Wonderful. And then how to consecrate the deck. Opening a reading. Lots of advice there too. Closing a reading. The meaning of special cards. All right, the oracle consists of 6 sets of 7 cards each. Each set represents a gathering of spirit beings associated with one of the medicine wheel's portals of the east, the south, the west, and the north, or with the directions above and below. Now, I always heard medicine wheel 7 directions. There's a thing about 7. It's like the 7 generations. So north, east, south, west, above, below, and within is the 7th direction. Here are the cards that belong to each set. So it gives just the list of them, of their main keyword. All right. Some of the spirit beings presented in these cards have made it clear that they're connected to places in the land around Findhorn, moving and inhabiting a certain area while others have not. The deck's opened by a card that represents the presence of the landscape angel and closed by a card that represents the presence of the angel of Findhorn. These are beings of light that hold the energy of the spiritual field of the community, as well as overlighting the life of the land in which the Findhorn community is set. When the landscape angel appears in your reading, it blesses the opening of a conversation flow with the spirit beings of nature and reminds you that the time for an honest and transformative conversation has come. When the angel of Findhorn appears, it brings overflowing grace, gifts from the spirit realms, and reminds you of the blessing that you are when you live your life consciously. Within each set of 7 cards, there are 3 significant cards. One is a guardian spirit. These are the guardians of the waterfall, of substance, of currents, of timelessness, of transmutation, and wild grasses. When one of them appears in your reading, know that a new cycle is opening. For an insight about its quality, refer to the message of the card you picked. One card represents a potential turning point in your life. These cards are called Parting of the Veil, Soul Tribe, Entering the Temple, Crossing the Threshold, Meeting the Magician, Medicine Making. And when these cards appear, it brings empowerment, a new sense of self, as well as awareness in life-changing situations. One card represents a spirit being akin to an animal or a flower. These are butterfly spirit, cat spirit, horse spirit, snake spirit, daffodil spirit, and white rose spirit. When these cards appear in your reading, it means that a deep healing is taking place. New consciousness is emerging. Allow it and let these spirit beings support and allow it and let these spirit beings support its unfolding. Okay. Card layouts, type of reading: Alliance, a daily reading; the Shapeshifter reading, 2-card spread; the Essence reading, which is 5 cards; Evolutionary Movement reading, 7 cards; and then there are examples of readings. And they show a chakra reading. And then we are into the card messages. And so you get the main title of the card, the subtitle, or if it's a special card, I guess. And then you get a paragraph with information, and then keywords that say focus, and then a practice. That's awesome. All right. Let's go to the back again. There's the epilogue. About touch drawing. Yep, I got everything there. Okay, cool. Let's zoom in. All right. The cards are plastic coated. They don't have the smell. If you know, you know. But we have this just kind of peachy orange color, and we've got the symbols. Clearly, they are directional, and there was no provision for reverse cards. So that's not a thing in this deck, and let's go. First card is Conception. Now, it doesn't say on the card that this is the landscape spirit. Or wait, is it? I'm going to keep the book kind of handy here, open to the table of contents, because that's where it shows me the groupings of the cards. So yes, this is the landscape angel, Conception. And it says, in cooperation with the subtle worlds, all are equally respected. And I love the softness, the clearly intuitive quality of the drawings, and to be doing it kind of blind until you turn the picture over is pretty amazing. All right, and then we have Portal of the East, and the color, at least for the first one, is green. I'm looking to see, okay, wait. So let's go into the cards and see if they give us, yes. So the first one, Conception Landscape Angel, is just the description, and then we have a description of the Portal of the East, and this is the symbol for the Portal of the East. Let me make sure I'm right. And then, yeah, that's the South. So we have symbols that will tell us immediately what quadrant we're in, and that's much appreciated too. So the first one says change. Everything is constantly changing. All is well. Awakening. Open your eyes and see. The door is open. Walk through. And I mean, look at these. They're just dynamic. And I have to say, when I took the plastic off last night And I also there was a paper band across this, popped the paper band. I found myself like getting drawn in. I thought, no, no, no. And I stuck them back in the box because it's like, no, I want to meet you first on camera. But I definitely get the sense of meeting spirit beings, and my skin is like tingling right now. Awakening, open your eyes and see the doors open, walk through. Delicacy, every seed knows the secret of life. Harmony, the less personally a situation is approached, the more harmonious it becomes. So, that packs a wallop there. The less personally a situation is approached, the more harmonious it becomes. And, one great, like, overall piece of advice for living a peaceful life is don't take it personally. Shit happens, don't take it personally. But again, I'm really grateful for the symbol here because the colors are very broad. Even the symbol has different colors on each card. Tenderness, the heart is perfectly aware and perfectly receptive. Trust, when love is at work, step out of the way. Yeah. Precision, sense the divine in everything. Precision, how interesting. I like the little almost antenna looking things. Now we are into the South. Generosity, be generous with yourself. Life is a gift. Look at this face. This is one that I kind of, took the paper band off and cut and saw this one and I went, ugh. Be generous with yourself. Life is a gift. Your life itself is a gift. Keep giving it to everyone you can. Okay, now, I'm not going to go, I could launch there, but I'm not going to. Then we have abundance. Arise, live in expanded awareness. Appreciation. The key to all life is gratitude. Joy. Preserve the joy in your heart so that the world knows this is possible. Service. Live extraordinarily well. Live a fulfilling life. This is your service. When you live a fulfilling life that you love to its core, truly love, internally, beyond the external trappings, you are bringing that to the world. Sustenance, put your hands and feet in the earth. It will make you feel good. And freedom, the value of its fullness is in the present moment. Wow. All right, now we have West. Engage yourself fully. There are no second chances. One of the things I learned after I graduated from high school and when I was traveling with a group called Up With People, don't judge. There's a whole story that goes with that. Anyway, I learned flexibility, and one of the things they were just stellar at, we toured, my cast toured all the west of the US. And anytime, we'd pull into a city, we'd probably have a show the next night and leave the next day. Sometimes we'd be there for, one day longer. But if we were traveling to a place and in between or even somewhat out of the way, there was something really worth seeing, an experience worth having, they would yank us out of bed at the crack of dawn to get on the buses and go to give us that experience. And I kind of learned the, when are you going to get this chance again kind of lesson to really just take advantage of what's being presented to you in the present moment. Assurance, give it time, all the time that is needed. Okay, that's a big slowdown there. Confidence, stop believing your doubts. Wow. Love, that which is found and that which is finding are one. Stability, do not get distracted. Stabilize the attention in the heart. Wonder, spiritual discovery is a love affair with life. Boundaries, everything transforms when borders are crossed. Now we have north, and I'm going to make sure that I've got this right because I'm pretty sure the portal of the north, yes. Wait a minute. Hold up. Here. Oh, all right. No, right. So this is the guardian of the waterfall. I wish that was on these cards that, the guardians are the first cards of every little subset. But this is north, purity, ask, and your deep soul will answer. I really like that reference of where, when you're asking, praying, where are you doing that to? And it's all in here. Awareness, commit to see, and you will see. Clarity, enjoy the freedom of an open mind. Okay. So people are closed-minded because they're afraid. Basically, bottom line. Because new information is going to challenge my identity, or it's going to challenge something that is very shakeable, something that is on shaky ground, right? But when we get our core solidified and, through spiritual practice, we really solidly reconnect with ourselves, with the spirit, the indwelling spirit, then we can really open up the mind. And that is such freedom to be able to just let go of, okay, I've always thought of it this way. Something happens, you go into that old habit of thinking, and suddenly you're fucked up. Suddenly you're feeling crappy and stress and everything. And if you go, wow, what would happen if I can just let go of that thought? What's a different way to think about it? And that is freedom. Yes. Courage, take what you have and live it. Initiation, attend to the light in your eyes and the fire in your spirit. How interesting that this is north. And I want to, I'm going to go back here because let's see what it tells us in general about north. The portal of the north is the place of deep inner peace and wisdom. The north brings the harsh winds and the cold season, storms to be endured with patience and resilience. It teaches us to rest and gives us long nights to dream. It is the time when the seeds lie deep in the earth, a stillness full of potential. This is a place of the Divine Father who can hold a sacred blueprint without yet moving into action. It is a soulful place for regeneration. Portal of the north, night, winter, rest, soul, seeds, wisdom, Divine Father, and timelessness. The reason I had to go there is because this is a very fiery card, and being pagan, fire is in the south. But that's not how this is arranged, and I like to see that, they describe each one of the directions and give it keywords. So, but attend to the light in your eyes and the fire in your spirit. Mirror work. Looking yourself in the eye is very powerful. Intimacy, the true meeting happens in the now. Intuition, everything reflects the heart like a clear cosmic mirror. And now we are into the above, I'm assuming, wait. Yes, the realms above. So we have self-love, see the essential nature in all beings. Start with yourself. Alchemy, breathe well and learn to love. This is enough. Compassion, everyone's heart is beating. Soften, do not sabotage love. This is beautiful. And the artwork is gorgeous. Clearly, this isn't somebody just doodling and scribbling. This is someone that has a gift. Dignity, live your true essence. Look how beautiful. I like the softness. I like the change in the color palettes. Rejuvenation, your fire is on. Cherish it. Tend to it. So the fires that show up in the north are interesting here, and it's because it is the place of winter. So you're internal and around the hearth, and very fascinating. Victory, the warrior within uses resistance to awaken. Yeah. I'm trying to think, there was a oh, it's another deck. It's the deck that I actually bought that had a message about the work, that the work is whatever thing you're resisting in front of you. All right, healing. Say yes to life and choose to grow. Transcendence. All right, now we're into below. It is not personal. Drama is unnecessary. Belonging. Come to recognize your true place. Oh, that's a lovely image. Defensiveness. Love reveals all perspectives. It does not take sides. It reveals perspectives, but it doesn't take sides. Integrity. There is nothing outside of you. Resourcefulness. The pool of personal existence is shallow. Dive into the eternal ocean of life. So personal existence, yes, shallow. Ocean of life is deep. Vitality. Stand in the strength of your love. And storytelling. You are the script, the stage, the actor, and the scriptwriter. Then we have the angel of Findhorn. Blessings. Let your presence be a blessing. Oh my God, you guys, I'm going to be editing so much because I edit out all the little throat clearings and coughs. My allergies are so bad right now. But let's give this deck a blessing worthy of these amazing spirits. Find my matches. I'm very intrigued as to what kind of a reading this deck will give, because it is very spiritual. Ooh, thunder. Yikes. I can't wait to see, to read, you know, and to see how it answers a very specific question. So by air and fire, may you be purified and charged, you wonderful little beings. By water and earth. So I kind of like that we don't have strict, you know, elements in the directions. By water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. I can distract myself in the middle of a sentence. I interrupt myself. You guys know that. And by the sound of the bell, may the spirit awaken. All of you beautiful spirits of Findhorn, gratitude to you and to guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. Gratitude to the author and artist of this deck. But most of all, gratitude to these Findhorn spirits. I am very excited to work with you. I don't know if you can hear that. That's thunder. Very excited to work with you, and I offer you fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael. Did my charcoal light? It did. All right, there we go. That the spirit of divination may awaken as well. Let's see how it shuffles. The cardstock is very flexible. I can hold the whole deck in my hand. The plastic coating makes them a little sticky so they don't slide against each other. And they do feel a little stiff, but it's not unworkable because it is a smaller deck. And they bridge okay. Let's do another riffle, and then we'll cut and riffle again and cut. And I'm getting 3 cards because we have a really specific question in front of us. And it's a yes-no question. So I will look at it again. And whoops. Let's try that again. I hear you. You're saying those spirits don't want it to be shuffled that way. But I do want a good mix. So we go gently. Thank you, lovely spirits, for allowing me to do that. Let me go back to Allie's question. Is there hope in my dire situation? Well, I can answer that off the top of my head. Yes, there's always hope. If you're alive and you are, you know, you have mental faculties, okay, so they're flying out already. I'm just going to do the order that they came out. Wonder, belonging. So we got a good mix, you see? So I didn't have time to really focus on the question, but the energetic connection is there, so I'm going to trust. So is there hope? All right, let's just go through these cards and then we'll refer back to the questions and see where we get. The first one says wonder. Spiritual discovery is a love affair with life. And since, the one thing I don't see, unfortunately, is in the contents page, we don't have the little symbols of each of the directions. But if I go east, south, north, on the backs of the cards, there's that symbol. North, this is below, this is above. All right. So wonder is in the north. Really? Wait. No, the west. This is the west. East, south, west. How did I come up with north? I don't know. Spirit of beauty. So it is easy enough to find from the contents page. If you're absolutely stuck, you can go to the index. So this card is the Spirit of Beauty. And it says, spiritual discovery is a love affair with life. I am the Spirit of Beauty. To connect with me, be still and allow yourself to expand to include everything in existence. Let go of fragmentations. Don't discard anything. Let go of fragmentations. Don't discard anything. Say, I am, and include everything in it. When the center also disappears, only consciousness remains, vast, untainted. When the center also disappears. The very nature of your being is a vibration of light. Become more conscious of it, more alert. Then look around you with attentiveness. Find yourself in everything as if you're looking into the face of the divine. Notice the miracles in ordinary things, the colors and sounds around you, the vivid orange of a carrot that comes from dark earth and water, the softness of animal fur, the breath breathing you, the juiciness of a fruit, the smile of a friend, the first snow on the mountain peaks. Let yourself be in wonder. The focus is awareness, shape-shifting, expansion. The practice is sit in nature and connect with what is around you. Then close your eyes and feel that the trees, the grass, the water, the sky are not outside you, but within you. You are part of nature. Everything is rooted within you as much as you are rooted in it. Feeling the quality of this connection, become the freshness of the breeze, the aliveness of the greenery, the flow of the water. Stay in this wonder. Okay, so I want to go back to the portal of the West. Through the portal of the West, we reach the last stage of a journey. This place is associated with the setting sun, autumn winds that teach us to let go. It's a place of transition, a place to shed the old and whatever's not essential before moving on. The crone resides here as well as our elderhood. Evening, autumn, completion, feelings, harvest, letting go, crone, and past. All right. So I want to say right off the rip here that it is going to be difficult to answer a specific question with these cards. I can tell. Let's do this. There. I can tell. Because they are very ethereal. But let's do our best. And so, this brings up the topic of whether to go for an oracle deck or a tarot deck when you're asking a specific question. And there isn't a hard and fast answer. It all depends, especially with oracle decks. It depends on the oracle deck. There are oracle decks that can give, really great specific answers. Holy crap, now it's really raining. Sorry, I have a little bit of, after that thing came through last week, that they're not calling a tornado. Anyway, let's continue here. Then we have belonging. Okay. Which says, come to recognize your true place. I am the spirit of receptivity. The seen and the unseen realms belong together, and we are overjoyed that you are now paying attention. The need to be known is one of the most potent driving forces and one that we share. Therefore, this evolutionary manifestation is in progress. You have chosen this specific incarnation, and we honor you for that. At birth, you are given to be part of a family. a clan, a society, and therefore assigned a specific role. Sorry, you guys. Your roots are important for your well-being and your growth, even if you may not appreciate the constrictions that come with that. Tend to them with care. Acknowledge the people and the land that first received you on this planet. Value everything that is part of your identity, like a treasure shining and partly still undiscovered. Great blessings are bestowed when you fully embrace your own kind. And the focus is roots, gratitude, incarnation. All right, let me go back to wonder. Oops. Awareness, shape-shifting, expansion. Roots, gratitude, incarnation. And then the last one is healing. Yeah, to just kind of thumb through the book and find things isn't that easy. Okay, healing. This is the white rose spirit. You are part of a big living system, and when another part of the system is out of alignment, you will also eventually encounter pain. There's no running away from it. On this earth, every human being is familiar with pain, but what you do with it is your choice. You can choose to heal, to lighten your load, to give back responsibility where responsibility is due, to carry only what is yours to carry and not be overburdened. Or maybe it is time to take full responsibility for the part in you that is causing distress. We're deeply interrelated beings. Observe the quality of your interactions to discover where life is not flowing. Let whatever has been suppressed, dismissed, and ignored come to the surface and speak its truth. I am White Rose Spirit, and I'm here to support the cleansing of your energy system so that whatever is blocking a healthy flow can be removed. On a physical level, this translates into a healthy body in which each organ works according to its original blueprint. Interrelation, cleansing, responsibility. Now I'm going to go back and find these again, these other ones, because I want to go back to those keywords and kind of take them together. And then we had wonder. Okay. So we had awareness, shape-shifting, expansion, roots, gratitude, incarnation, and then interrelation, cleansing, responsibility. Again, this is going to be difficult. And I don't get the sense that taking more cards is going to give us more information because they're all very internal, very spiritual, about connectivity. So what I want to pull out for you here is with this one, a love affair with life. Look at how you are approaching life right now. Is there a lot of fear? I mean, you're asking, is there hope in my dire situation? So it could be that fear is kind of stopping progress, that maybe you have resources that need to go a certain place and you're holding back on them because you're not sure what else is coming in. That plays out as like a demonstration of lack of trust in the universe, and trust is what makes things flow. So talking about really loving your life, trying to expand rather than contract. Check your sense of belonging, roots, gratitude, and incarnation, maybe looking to connections from the past for assistance here. And then healing was talking about looking at whatever you're suppressing. And I'm going to stretch that to say, look at whatever you are fearing the most. I'm thinking in this situation, to name your greatest fear is to shift some things, because sometimes when you name it, you're suddenly, out loud, you're suddenly struck with like, that's really not realistic. But I guess let's keep going. Then we have awareness, commit to see and you will see, and fulfillment. Engage yourself fully. There are no second chances. So that's telling me that perhaps there's something right in front of you that you're not seeing, or that you're discounting for one reason or another. Maybe you feel that's not where I belong, but this is saying take another look and expand your awareness around it and then fulfillment. Engage yourself fully. There are no second chances. And then we've got victory at the end. Well, I'm just going, on the keywords alone. I think we can get some answers here. Wonder, belonging, healing. I'm thinking about, getting a job, not just a job, but a work in a place where you feel like you belong, where you feel like you're appreciated and you are giving your gifts. Look to healing whatever needs to be healed from past work experiences that might be keeping you focused on the here's what I don't want, here's what I don't want, right? That's a great place to start. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we can't decide what we want until we go with, well, I know what I don't want. And then that moves us into the territory of what's left, So looking at that, expanding your awareness into what is it that I really do want in order to be in love with my life. What do I see myself doing? Where do I belong? What do I have left to heal that might be blocking me taking an opportunity here? Because what I'm hearing is kind of just because it's a similar frame doesn't mean that the experience of it is going to be the same. Just because things happened a certain way in the past doesn't mean they will continue to happen that way in the future. And this saying, engage yourself fully, there are no second chances, says that you might have to just kind of leap for something here. And, when you heal stuff that's left over from the past, it can open up an opportunity, but then you have to take that opportunity and not let fear stop you. Because this is victory. The warrior within uses resistance to awaken. I'm going to go to the index, and oh, how easy it is to find a card in the index. Lovely. Spirit of inclusivity. There are no enemies, no battles to fight, no one to blame. A collective victory can only be achieved through acceptance of everything just as it is. Inclusivity is the first step, then a transformation and manifestation can start that will benefit all involved. Stop fighting, even for what you perceive as a good cause. Quiet down, go within, drop the survival fears. There we go. That keep you enslaved. There is enough for everyone. We live in a bountiful universe. Feel that. To reestablish balance in your social and ecosystem, your intelligence and physical skills need to be harmonized, and divine cosmic laws must be respected, such as the law of retribution. Open your eyes and open your heart. Notice where around you love is needed. Offer your gifts and practical contribution to bring more beauty and peace wherever you are. We have respect, balance, contribution. Now, as I was reading that, still we have the messages to go within. So I'm thinking, alignment is key here. Getting yourself aligned internally. And I am going to read these two in the middle, because that's what I'm here for, right? Awareness. Immediately forgot the page number. Okay. The storm is messing with me a little bit here. I am the spirit of attention. And awareness says, commit to see and you will see. Living awareness is your essential nature. Realize your presence, stand in your sovereignty. The phenomenal world. I'm seeing stuff, you guys. I got stuff happening. Okay. The phenomenal world around you is wonderfully rich and full of sensory attractions, but right now stay with deeper consciousness. Let any meanings dissolve and simply drop into the direct experience of the physical and non-physical worlds. They coexist. There's no separation. Let everything be equally respected and included, unadulterated by the concept or concerns of your mind. Let any psychological turbulence fade away as it will when you relax your hold. There's nothing to it. Stop right now to do anything that is not for your highest good. Enlightened life is practical and uncomplicated, though set in complex realities. As a human being, you are embodying divine potential. You are a generative being. Become aware of it. Sovereignty, deepening, inclusion. So interesting. We have awareness, and then it's sovereignty, deepening, and inclusion. The keywords that are given in the book are very different than the keyword on the card. All right, fulfillment. This is guardian of the something here, guardian of the wild grasses. I am extremely fulfillment. I am extremely fertile. The principle of pollination. I take up residence in the wild. You can smell me when you're in nature. This is the reason I suffer. My scent is pungent and revitalizing. I'm the guardian of the wild grasses. I love roaming free. Come run with me. Come to enjoy the breeze amongst the grass and the wild flowers. Behold such easy beauty, everywhere such splendor. There's nothing to stop you but your interpretations, and in this moment there is no need to cling to your beliefs and assumptions of security, for they no longer serve you. Be free. There's a key. That's what I'm talking about. You got to let go of fear and trust the universe. If you, in fact, I want to look at some of these other practices here. Where was I just? Getting in my own way again. Okay, take the splendor of natural places and come alive. Take in the splendor. Look for a place that nurtures you with beauty, possibly somewhere with wild grasses. Okay, surround yourself with plants and animals and people you truly love. Yes, let's look at victory again. For practices. Pause, allow, no, wait, that's rejuvenation, wait. Your inner warrior needs a break. Whether you're exhausted from too much action or charged up and ready for more, a reflective pause is essential. To become an instrument for constructive change, it's important to revisit your motivations and your attitudes. Make sure your choices are coming from unconditional love and your behaviors are eco-friendly. Okay. So, do we get a yes/no answer? I mean, I can say, will you get a job? Eventually, yeah. I mean, you're not going to go the entire rest of your life never having a job again, right? So I think the answer is a given yes. The universe is going to provide for you, but you're looking for something now. So I'm hazarding to say, and I will give you this this particular type of reading if you haven't seen a video where I do it. There is a way to get yes/no answers from a tarot deck and shuffle really well with your question. And it's good to put specific dates. So this is a way to ask a really specific question and get a specific answer. Will I get a job by date? You know, or before this date. So be very specific about your question. So as you're shuffling, will I get a job by the end of June? Let's say shuffle, 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 shuffle. Then you start dealing the cards into 3 different piles. All right. You start dealing into the first pile and you will stop when you either get to 13 cards or you hit an ace. If you hit an ace, you go immediately to the next pile and start dealing out the cards again. When you hit an ace, go to the next pile, or if you get to 13 cards, you go to the next, right? And then the last pile, 13, or stop when you get to an ace. If you get 3 aces up, it's a absolutely yes. No aces, absolutely not. 2 aces, probably yes. 1 ace, probably no. All right? And you can get, and you can also use the show me an ace method with specific timings of things. Tell me when exactly this is going to happen, and tell your deck 1 card equals 1 day, or 1 card equals 1 week, or 1 card equals 1 month, however you want to do it. Give me an ace. Show me the day this happens. Show me an ace. Show me an ace. And I mean, shuffle the shit out of them. And then, and tell it when you're starting. Like, give me the date starting with today, or starting with tomorrow, or starting with a specific date. You know, be really clear with your deck. So starting with tomorrow, if you're doing this at 11 o'clock at night, you know, starting with tomorrow, what day will this happen? Show me an ace. 1 card equals 1 day. And then you just start dealing and counting. You know, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, July 1st, until an ace comes up, right? If you get a ridiculous, like, all the aces are at the end or something, or you just keep going and it's like, okay, this is way past the time frame that anything could happen, then maybe take it as I'm asking the wrong question, or there just isn't an answer available right now, kind of thing. Okay. So that can possibly help you, but I would say that hope is something you generate. There is always, always, always hope. And there is a thing that's called hope punk, which is hashtag, which is hoping beyond hope, just being determined to stay hopeful no matter what is going on. So you start there. You start by throwing out, maybe take a little visit to Findhorn. You said it's only, a few miles from where you live. Go visit. Talk to these spirits. Talk to your own guides and your guardians. If you have like a magical practice or something, certainly meditate, visualize. Rather than, oh no, am I ever going to get a job? How about, I cannot wait to see the opportunity that's coming to me. Thank you, Spirit, for having my back and bringing a position that is beyond what, the best I could think of. Thank you. I'm ready for it now. And I give gratitude for it now, right? So putting yourself in that position of trust, and also really being clear about what it is you're looking for. If you have a specific job you're looking for, visualize it in as much clarity as possible, and infuse it with your passion, because the clearer you are, I think I said this on my last unboxing, the clearer you are on the what, the faster and more efficiently the universe can handle the how. They will get you there faster than you ever could, because the view from up there, you might be thinking, I got to go this way and this way and this way and this way and this way to get there. But the view from above says, no, you just take a little hop over here and you're there, So I would say there's always hope. I would say, yes, you're going to get a job, but it's going to take a tarot reading or some really specific questions with the methods that I've just given you to get a more specific answer out of this deck. Certainly, though, we need to talk about what it is that's going to fulfill us. You need to address whatever fears are coming up around jobs, whatever trauma you may have over a past job and some drama that was happening there. Open your eyes to see what's available to you. Expand your mind so you don't say no to something that actually might be a good opportunity. All of that, just good basic stuff. So I'm sorry if I couldn't give you that, zero in answer. But this deck, I think, doesn't really lend itself to it. This is a deck for really connecting with spirit and connecting with, I'm thinking the spirits of the woods out there are going to love using this deck. Definitely. And I am going to love using this deck. And again, I send you so many blessings. Your little note will go in the back of the book so that every time I pull out this deck, I will send you blessings, and we now have an energetic connection. So hopefully I'll see you on a live stream soon, and you could get further answers there. But thank you again, Allie. You're wonderful. Okay, you guys, hit like on your way out if you would, please. I will see you next time. Until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.